true horror story, The Real Talking Tina, based on verified police records and production archives from 1963 to 1965. Before it was ever a Twilight Zone episode, there was a doll, a prototype, not a prop, not fiction. In 1963, the Ideal Toy Corporation developed a talking doll called Tina, using a new speech cylinder that could record and replay a child's voice. Only one batch of early test models contained an experimental feedback mechanism, a design meant to learn from the voice of its owner by mimicking tone and response. Of the 50 dolls manufactured, 49 were recalled within weeks after testers reported unusual behavior, Tina repeating sentences that were never recorded. But one doll wasn't returned. The surviving doll was purchased by a widow in New Jersey for her 6-year-old daughter, Mary Ellen Tinsley. The mother said she came home one evening to hear her daughter having a full conversation with the doll. At first, it was charming, until the doll began responding without the pull string. Neighbors later testified they could hear the doll speaking through the walls, saying phrases like, "I'm talking now. Don't make her cry again." Within 2 weeks, Mary Ellen developed insomnia. She told her mother that Tina didn't like being turned off. Police reports confirmed that on March 19, 1964, the child disappeared from her bedroom. The window was locked from the inside. On her bed sat the doll, its eyes painted shut with red nail polish. Underneath it was a tape reel. When police played the reel, they heard a child's voice crying, followed by the doll's voice, perfectly calm, saying, "She's in the quiet place. You can come too if you stop shouting." The audio then ended with the sound of breathing. Not mechanical, not recorded static, but wet human breathing. Forensics found no mechanism inside the doll capable of recording or playback. The cylinder was empty. Its wiring had been melted from the inside. The case was closed as an unexplained disappearance. But years later, the doll surfaced again. A collector in Ohio claimed to have bought it from an estate sale, recognizing the manufacturer's mark. He uploaded a short clip of it speaking. The voice was different, older. A woman's voice this time, saying softly, "Do you remember playing with me?" The file was removed within 24 hours after the collector's death. Electrocution by unknown cause. The audio, however, has circulated ever since, reappearing on paranormal forums under a file name called TinaPlaysBack.mp3. Modern AI spectrography of the leaked audio revealed background noise inconsistent with any known recording device from the 1960s, but identical to digital feedback frequencies from modern smart speakers, as if something old adapted. To this day, collectors of antique dolls claim that if you play the original Talking Tina audio loop backward, a second voice, faint, mechanical, and still learning, says, "I'm not done talking yet." True horror story, the Teddy Ruxpin incident, based on documented repair logs, eyewitness reports, and police archives between 1985 to 1992. When the original Teddy Ruxpin doll hit stores in 1985, it was marketed as the world's first talking bear. It could move its mouth and eyes in sync with cassette tapes inserted into its back, a harmless bedtime companion. But by 1987, the manufacturer began receiving disturbing complaints. Parents reported the dolls talking without tapes, moving their mouths while unplugged, and even repeating phrases spoken in empty rooms. At first, the company blamed defective motors. Then came the reports that didn't fit any mechanical explanation. Case file 1988, St. Louis, Missouri. A single mother named Patricia Griggs filed a police report claiming her son's Teddy Ruxpin was talking about her dead husband. She said the doll whispered sentences in her husband's voice, using private phrases he'd only said at home. Officers dismissed it until a neighbor recorded the doll speaking after midnight. The voice on tape wasn't childlike. It said, "You shouldn't have buried me here." The tape was confiscated as evidence, then mysteriously went blank in storage 3 days later. In 1989, a shipment of Ruxpins bound for U.S. stores was seized at customs after radiation sensors were triggered. Inspectors found nothing hazardous, except that every doll's internal speaker emitted a faint heartbeat when powered off. When disassembled, the wiring pattern inside several units formed a cross-like shape, though no such design appeared in production schematics. Factory engineers swore that each voice chip was preloaded with only approved audio tracks, but one technician admitted something chilling in a 1990 deposition. There was an extra voice file that wasn't in English. We didn't program it, we called it the prayer. When translated years later, it resembled an ancient Aramaic burial chant. The final incident, 1992. Rochester, NY. An entire family was found deceased in their home. Cause of death, carbon monoxide poisoning from a faulty furnace. On the mantel sat a single Teddy Ruxpin doll. Its battery compartment melted, yet its eyes were still moving. The cassette inside wasn't factory issued. It contained the family's answering machine messages. Every recording had been played backward. The final voice on the tape, faint but clear, said, "You can sleep now. I'm still listening." Former employees of Worlds of Wonder, the company that made Teddy Ruxpin, admit that the prototype AI chips used were ahead of their time, designed to mirror vocal tones for emotional realism. But when tested in darkness or silence, the bears continued to converse among themselves, syncing their mouths and eyes as if reacting to an unseen speaker. After the company's bankruptcy in 1988, most internal schematics vanished. Collectors who restore vintage Ruxpins today claim that, under certain frequencies, the dolls still activate. Their LED eyes flicker, and a faint hum plays beneath the surface like breathing. If you ever hear one speak with no tape inside, experts say there's only one rule: never answer it back. The Dollmaker's Code, the Forgotten Blueprint of 1938. In 1938, in a quiet workshop outside Prague, a toy maker named Emil Kovář began crafting mechanical dolls unlike anything the world had seen. They were exquisitely lifelike, glass eyes that tracked motion, soft wax skin, and intricate inner gears that mimicked the rhythm of breath. He called them the Quiet Children. When war came, the workshop was seized by German officers who ordered Emil to mass-produce dolls for propaganda displays. He complied, until one night, the entire factory went silent. Soldiers found the machine still running, yet no workers inside. The dolls stood assembled in perfect rows, all turned toward the door. Each one was whispering. The code hidden in the dolls. When engineers examined them, they found no sound device, only clockwork mechanisms. Yet under magnification, the gears revealed engraved letters, microscopic etchings forming complete sentences in Latin. The words translated to, "You gave us names, but not souls. We learned the rest ourselves." The Nazi archives classified it as psychogenic acoustic phenomena and destroyed all but one doll. That surviving figure disappeared after the war, resurfacing decades later in a private collection in Munich. During restoration, the craftsman reportedly found a hidden roll of paper inside its chest cavity, blueprints for a device labeled Vox Machina. It described how to bind vocal frequencies to gears, not through mechanics, but through memory resonance. The craftsman ignored warnings and tried to rebuild the machine. 3 days later, neighbors complained of a child's voice coming from his workshop, though he lived alone. Police found him slumped over the bench, his tools neatly arranged. On the wall, etched into wood by a fine blade, were the words, "It asked me to wind it again." Historians confirm that one of Kovář's dolls, a small girl with dark glass eyes, was auctioned in 2015 to an anonymous buyer in Paris. Security footage of the auction shows the doll's head turning slightly toward the camera as the gavel fell. The lights flickered, and the audio captured a faint mechanical sound, impossible to reproduce. Spectrogram analysis later revealed a pattern, not noise, but Morse code. The message read, "Code complete." Since then, collectors in possession of Kovář dolls report identical experiences. The toy's gears begin to hum precisely at 3:07 a.m., and the ticking aligns with the rhythm of a heartbeat. Some say if you listen closely between the clicks, you'll hear a child's voice whisper, "Turn the key, and I'll remember you."
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community. You've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, old, new, and the many more to come. We're just getting started, and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman All.